Good afternoon, and congratulations. You did it. On October 17th, cannabis will be recreationally legal in Canada. Way to go. It's already legal in some American states, 9 of them, including California, Colorado, and Nevada, and in one country, Uruguay. But if you're one of those people who is a naysayer, if you were opposed to legalization, or if you're still opposed, relax. Because guess what? Cannabis can make you healthier, sexier, and richer. We are learning how cannabis can be used as a medicine, treating all kinds of ailments, from epilepsy to the nausea caused by chemotherapy. Seniors are using it to improve their quality of life. We are becoming friendlier, more creative, and more relaxed. Cannabis affects how we interact with one another because it can create a greater sense of empathy. It can provide us with a higher level of sensitivity so that the food we eat is tastier and the sex is better. Cannabis cultivation dates back 12,000 years, making it one of humanity's oldest crops. And the business of cannabis brings with it so many opportunities. Cannabis is a disruptor. It's going to change the entire wellness industry. It has a history of medical use exceeding 5,000 years, and now it's finally legal again. There are many ways in which we are discovering how cannabis can make us healthier. But we don't need to smoke cannabis or even get high to enjoy its benefits. CBD is a cannabinoid which does not make you high, and it can be taken in so many ways, through supplements such as CBD oil, tinctures, and edibles, or it can be applied and absorbed on the skin. We are putting CBD in everything these days, in creams, in our makeup, in shampoo, in teas, and other drinks, even in pet food. And for good reason. Every part of your body has CBD receptors just waiting to come in contact with CBD. And when they do, cannabis stimulates your body to produce more of its own endocannabinoids, which help your body's cells regulate themselves, improving your sleep, your appetite, coordination, and boosting your immune system. It balances and aligns your body's metabolic processes. Cannabis is an effective painkiller. It's an alternative treatment to opiates. The active ingredients in marijuana calm the secretion of pain-signaling chemicals in your body. When you're experiencing pain, cannabis signals your body to stop hurting. And topical creams are being used now to treat pain, to treat soreness, and to treat inflammation, even chronic pain, such as fibromyalgia. Athletes use CBD to ease inflammation. Cannabis, especially CBD oil, can treat anxiety in people and, believe it or not, in pets. Cannabis is being used now to treat autism, ADHD, schizophrenia, epilepsy, social phobia, and PTSD. We know there is so much potential in what CBD and THC can do. And cannabis can make you smarter. THC and CBD are antioxidants that help prevent damage and degeneration of brain cells. Cannabinoids protect an aging brain. So cannabis can help in treating diseases like Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis, and Parkinson's. But cannabis doesn't just make you healthier, it can make you richer. Here's some interesting statistics on why you should invest in cannabis right now. US legal cannabis sales is expected to rise by 50% this year to $10 billion. But the actual estimated US market, including the black market, as it's not currently legal everywhere in the US, is $52 billion a year. And there are some that say if the entire US was legalized, that sales of marijuana would top cigarette sales, which are currently at $93 billion a year. Cannabis is big business. So the hype around cannabis stocks is not surprising. It's definitely warranted, as the industry really is just getting started. There are already 6 multi-billion-dollar cannabis companies, but there's still plenty of room to grow. In August 2018, Constellation Brands, one of the world's largest alcohol brands, owning Corona beer, made a $5 billion investment into one of the world's largest cannabis companies, Canopy Growth, bringing that company's market capitalization to over $13 billion. And it's not even recreationally legal yet. I get asked all the time, where should I be putting my money in cannabis? Is it too late to invest? Or how do I invest in a cannabis stock before it reaches $1 billion valuation? I'm going to share a secret with you. It's called the Canadian Securities Exchange. On that exchange, there are over 80 cannabis companies listed, many of which are at the very early stages, and any of which could be the next billion-dollar enterprise. Every once in a while, we find ourselves in the right place at the right time. Now is the time to buy cannabis stocks in Canada. Although there are several billion-dollar companies out there, you want to look for the companies that could be targets and could be acquired. So buy into those CSC-listed companies. This is what you need to look for. Look for companies that are pursuing an international strategy with assets in other countries as recreational cannabis becomes legal, as it will, hopefully, all over the world. And look for companies that are growing CBD or conducting research and development to find out how cannabis can heal us. And look for companies developing strong brands, whether it's in flower, edibles, or topicals. An example of a strong brand that I like is a company I founded called the Yield Growth Corp. And we're launching a cannabis line called Urban Juve. If you want to look at a company that's entering new territories around the world, take a look at Crop Infrastructure. It's a public company listed on the CSC under the symbol Crop. And they've actually bought the Italian rights to Urban Juve. There are so many cannabis companies poised to grow as legal cannabis changes the way we heal, the way we play, and the way we interact. It's a gold rush, only this time, the gold rush is a green rush. But more importantly, let's talk about how cannabis can improve your sex life. Cannabis can intensify feelings and connection with a partner, and it can yield better orgasms. Some people smoke it as an aphrodisiac. There are so many strains, and you need to experiment to determine what works for you. Experts recommend that adults experiment with smoking or vaping to find out your perfect strain, one toke at a time. It can be very strong. Cannabis-infused lubricants may well change women's sex lives forever. A company that I founded, Urban Juve, has filed a patent for a female sexual lubricant that includes ashwagandha oil, which is an exotic Indian oil that relaxes, combined it with THC and hemp root oil, and we theorize that that will increase orgasmic activity in women. How can that be wrong? People have been arguing for 50 years to legalize cannabis. The public pressure in the last 15 years has been particularly strong. The media has been a big supporter to legalize cannabis, and there are still many media companies working hard to educate the world about it, such as the Canadian cannabis media. If you were one of those people who was opposed to legalization, I encourage you to open your mind to it anyway, and try to get on board with this. You're going to find that this natural plant is going to be responsible for an economic resurgence and social change. When you come to realize that cannabis can make you richer, healthier, and smarter, you may thank me. Consider educating yourself about how cannabis can heal you. Cannabis comes in mainly 2 strains, sativa, which generally stimulates, and indica, which often relaxes. Most strains are a genetic combination of both. You can think of it kind of like white wine and red wine on steroids. We each have an endocannabinoid system that is naturally set up to receive cannabis. You need to find out which strains are right for you, sort of like a wine tasting. Personally, I love a good Sauvignon, but I won't touch Chardonnay. If you're living somewhere that has legalized cannabis, like we will be here shortly, if you're of legal age, and if you find yourself on a Friday night going out for a glass of wine, don't be afraid to visit your local dispensary. These are the new wine stores. Check out the various cannabis strains. Inhale their aromas like you would a good wine. Consult with your bud tenders. They are the sommeliers of the future. For those of you that have already tried cannabis, bravo, keep it up. Responsibly. For the rest of you adults, please consider giving it a try. It's a new world. Good luck and have fun.